Hey everybody, how you doing? Today I want to talk about your career, my career. Are you not liking your career? Is it possible to love what you do again? Are you thinking about changing careers or leaving companies? Well, before you do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about my past year. Okay, before we get into that, let's talk about the elephant in the car here. That is a carpet rolled up in my back seat. There's not a body in there. I'm not working for the mafia. That's not why I'm talking about changing careers here. Okay, let's get into it. And this doesn't just pertain to sales, doesn't just pertain to new construction home sales or real estate sales. I think this is, almost any career. Last year, and even into a good portion of this year, I was just not feeling it. I was having thoughts of, is this something that I really like doing? Do I want to continue to do this? I had this thought in my head where, okay, I have to do what I'm doing right now because I don't really have any other, well, I shouldn't say I didn't have any other options, but I didn't have any other options where I could just unilaterally move somewhere else and make the exact same amount of money that I'm making right now. And I don't want to sacrifice that. So I had these thoughts in my head that, this is something that I'm doing. I'm still going to do my best at it, but I'm just not loving it. I'm just tired of meeting with people and, always being on call, because that's what sales is really. I mean, it's meetings and it's getting back to people and it's being on call to answer their questions, whether it's phone or email. I mean, those are probably the three biggest things in new construction and real estate sales. So I think it was just burnout, and a lot of people go through that. A lot of people, I think, find themselves at a point in their career or company that they're working for. And this had nothing to do with, it's our home building company, so it didn't have anything to do with the company. It was literally the daily tasks that I was doing were starting to make me a little unhappy, bitter, jaded. Fast forward a bit, I feel nothing like that now. I feel recharged, rejuvenated. I'm absolutely loving what I do right now, and I didn't think that was possible back when I was going through these trials and tribulations. And so I wanted to talk about this because I know this is something that other people go through as well. And you may be at a company where you're not happy right now, you're not enjoying what you're doing, but before you just get up and walk away, because you can do that if you're truly not happy with what you're doing and you've thought about it and you realize that you're not going to be happy in the future, you just don't foresee any changes at all to make you enjoy this, it's your choice. You can leave. And I know it's not easy, because if you're working somewhere and you're making a set income and you've got a family and you've got people providing on you, it's not like you can just quit and go without income for a certain amount of time. So it's not like this is something that's just boom, okay, you don't like it, well then leave. It's not that easy. So most people end up staying where they are because they don't like it, and they don't want to, they stay where they are, not because they don't like it, but because they don't want the risk of leaving and losing out on that income and just taking that gamble. So I think what you really have to do, and this is looking back at it from my situation right now, is you've really got to assess the situation. You've really got to, weigh all of your negatives, your positives. For me, I started to do this towards the end, and I think that's how I kind of worked myself out of this. But, one of the things for me that really turned things around was, I was still not liking I was just burned out with meeting with people, constantly answering emails, phone constantly ringing, but that's part of the job. I started to work myself out of that funk by telling myself that, what? I don't like those parts of the job. There's certain things I don't like about this job, but on the other hand, how great is it that I'm able to spend time with my family whenever I want? And how great is it that I'm able to spend the amount of time that I do with my family? And how great is it that we live in the home that we live in and we're able to do all of the things that we want to do? And how great is it that we live on the property that we live on? So just going through all of the things that I'm truly grateful and thankful for that my current career, and God Almighty, of course, provides for me. So that was the thing that really kind of got me out of it. Now that I'm looking back on it, because at the time I didn't feel myself getting pulled out of this hole as I started to think like that. But the more that I started to think about that, the more that I, looking back on it, I started to pull myself out of that hole. And I would say it's probably been a couple of months now, I am super happy. I am once again looking forward to one of the favorite things for me about what I do is my initial meeting with people. Because a lot of times with my first meeting with people, they're coming in, they've never built before, they're uneducated, they've got a little bit of knowledge from research that they've been doing, but there's a lot of, questions and just going over things initially. For me, that's one of my favorite things about what I do. So I'm excited again about those meetings, and I'm excited about, selling as many homes that I can, and I'm excited about, how many holes are we going to be able to dig this month, and I'm excited about, meeting new people and helping people with their with the biggest financial decision of their lives. That was the other thing, besides looking at everything that I'm thankful and grateful for because of what my career provided, that was the other thing that I started to talk about in my head was, you're truly helping people that when they come in, they are looking to you for guidance. They don't know which way to go. They may be in a situation where maybe some builders haven't called them back. They know that they want to build a home and they feel stuck right now because they're not able to move forward with somebody, or maybe they had an initial experience with somebody and that didn't go well for them, so now they're feeling discouraged and they don't know if they're going to be able to build the home of their dreams like they've been wanting to do. And then here you come and you can change all of that. You can change all of that and you can help them through the process. And a year down the road, they could be living in their dream house on their dream property, and it was possible because of you. That's a pretty cool and huge thing to be able to have responsibility for. So those were the two things that, looking back on it, pulled me out of that funk. And now I'm truly loving again what I do. And everybody needs to be recharged. In years past, and even next month, I'm going to be heading to the International Builder Show in Las Vegas. And this is the largest convention, to my knowledge, in the U.S. It's held at the Las Vegas Convention Center. It has everything to do with home building, home remodeling, any type of building product that is out there is at this show on the floor in the showroom. And then the other part of it is seminars. They have a whole segment and hall of the convention center dedicated to sales. So there's a lot of motivation, there's a lot of strategic, there's a lot of, what should you be doing on social media and how important that is for sales. There's segments just on selections and helping your clients through the selections process, budgeting, anything that has to do with home building or running a home building company is there at this show. We go to this show every year, and this is something that definitely gets me recharged for the year. I leave there feeling great, feeling motivated. We'll have a company meeting after that and talk about things that we want to implement, things that we want to do. And it's something that just really, really helps with what I do. Before we started going to those shows, it was books, which I really need to get back into that, because I used to be all about just listening to podcasts. And before podcasts were really popular, it was books. I would read certain books pertaining to sales, to motivation, mindset. One of the most powerful books that I read was a book about how to change your mindset. And I believe that's what allows me to be able to be in this funk that I was in for, I would say, 6-7 months, and be able to come out of it, as opposed to just, I can't do this anymore, I'm done with it, making a mistake and leaving. So mindset is a huge thing, because everybody can change their mindset. Most everything that is happening in your life, your happiness, your family's happiness, Your success starts here in your mind. And if you don't believe that, you've got to get educated on that, because it's so true. I think that was one of the first books that I read. I will find out what the name of that is. I'll mention that in a further video. Some of it was a little out there. I mean, some of it talked about, like, literally being able to, control things with your mind. I don't believe that. I believe I can control anything I want to do with my mind, but I can't, pick up this water bottle and, levitate it into the air because I'm controlling it with my mind. Anyways, if you are, in a career right now, or you're working for a company and you're not completely happy with work, with your work environment, with your work schedule, with what you're doing, before you make a rash decision, because it's a huge thing. If you change courses, careers, companies, and then you look back and realize you made a mistake, well, now what do? You don't want to keep on moving. So definitely think about all of the pros and cons and take time to think about it. Like I said, for me, I felt like I was in this funk of just, telling myself, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to keep doing it because I need to do it. But I know that I don't want to keep doing this. And now, I'm not telling myself that. I know that eventually I'm not going to be doing sales anymore, because at some point my father and then Jim, the other owner of our home building company, in the not too distant future are going to retire. And then there are going to be other responsibilities that I'm going to have. Maybe sales will still be a part of it, but there's going to be other things that I'm going to need to do to basically take the place of what my dad and Jim are doing right now. But for right now, I'm loving it again, and I feel great going into it's perfect timing going into 2020. I feel like I've been just crushing it at work with the amount of things that I've been getting done and moving all of my clients forward. I'm gonna have a lot of closings, coming up in January. I think at least 3, possibly 4 people closing on construction loans in January. So for us as a home builder, that means that, and then some that are closing in February. So between January and February, we will probably be able to start, 6 houses right away in the beginning of the year. And then for me, as I mentioned before, I earn my commission at the closing of the construction loan. So I'm going to have, 4 to 6, 4, I'm going to count for, and that's my goal for January. But so if you are not happy with what you're doing right now, really think about it. Spend some time thinking about it before you make a rash decision. And really, it's all about the positivity. You can turn things around inside your head. It's mindset, it's being positive, something that was instilled into me from a young age. Both of my parents were very positive people. And okay, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit right now, but that's what I wanted to talk about. Just kind of what I went through this year, where I'm at right now, and how great I feel. And the same can hold true for you. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you work, check out this video, share this video. If you're in new construction sales or real estate especially, thanks for your time. Leave me any comments, and I'll definitely get back to those. God bless.